Every championship side has their strengths and weaknesses, and in today's video we're going to be exploring each championship side's biggest weaknesses so far this season. I picked out one statistic for each championship side which they've been the worst at so far this season, and it makes for some interesting debates that could be had around a few of these topics. So if you do go to enjoy, make sure to leave a like, and if you'd like to see the flip of today's video where we look at what each championship side has been best at this season, then get this video to 200 likes. Without any further ado though, let's jump in. Starting out with Birmingham, they've been on the longest consecutive losing streak this season, as from the end of December to the end of January they lost 5 consecutive championship matches, and so far this season that's not been topped by any other clubs. Along with Birmingham losing 5 consecutive matches, the likes of Hull, QPR and Wigan have also matched that tally, but no team has lost more than 5 games in a row so far. Blackburn have been pretty useless when they've fallen behind in matches. We all know how good Blackburn have been when they've taken the lead and gone ahead and hold on to those leads, but so far this season they've only picked up 1 single point in the championship when they've gone ahead and fallen behind in a match, which is absolutely crazy. Blackpool fans have had to endure the longest winless run in the championship this season. The record this year stands at 14 matches which Blackpool managed to set, and yeah, some sides will go well to sort of surpass that. Along with the longest winless run in the league this season, Blackpool also boast the lowest possession percentage this season, averaging just 40.6% in the championship, which is the lowest of any of the clubs. Bristol City need to start shooting from outside the box a little more often, as so far this season they've only scored 1 goal from outside the box in the championship, which is the fewest of any championship club. I believe that goal was the Andy Weimann strike against Blackpool, and it was a cracking goal in the end. I think taking it with his left foot from just outside the box and bending it into the top corner, but that remains to be the only goal they've scored from outside the box this season. Believe it or not, but Burnley are also the worst in the league at something, as they've been caught offside more than any other championship side this season. On average they're caught offside 2.2 times per game, which is the most of any championship club. Their top offender for this season has been Nathan Teller, who's been caught offside a total of 21 times this season, so they need to brush up on that a little bit. With Cardiff, goals haven't been all too of a common occurrence for them, and it will come as no surprise to learn that they're the lowest scorers in the championship at this point, having scored just 28 goals, and along with that they've also got the lowest chance conversion rate in the league at just 5%, which shows that they do tend to create quite a few opportunities. They've just been useless at actually having a bit of a clinical edge and putting them into the back of the net. Now, we spoke about Blackburn not being great after falling behind in matches, and we can also say the same about Coventry this season, as they are yet to win a match this season in which they've gone ahead and fallen behind in. Obviously, Coventry have been known for late comebacks over the last couple of years, certainly scoring a lot of goals late on, but so far this season their bounce back ability at getting back into matches and going on to win games once they've fallen behind hasn't been great. When it comes to creativity this season, Huddersfield have really struggled in this aspect, and they've accumulated a lower XG across the entire season than any championship side, so far with an XG of just 33.4, which is the lowest in the championship, and speaks to the real struggles they've had so far in the final third. Hull City went an entire month without scoring in the championship, which seems crazy looking back on it, but throughout the entire month of September Hull failed to hit the back of the net. They lost all the matches they played in September, unsurprisingly, and failed to score a goal in that time. The consecutive streak of not scoring in 4 matches is the longest in the championship. No side has gone longer than that without scoring. Luton Town aren't going to be winning the Fair Play Award this season, I think it's fair to say, as they commit more fouls per game than any championship side. They do tend to be really quite busy off the ball, hustle and harry you, and that's backed up by the statistics. On average, Luton commit 12.5 fouls per game, which is the most in the championship in this regard. Be interested to get some Middlesbrough fan verdicts on how well you think your corners have been taken this season, as so far Middlesbrough have taken more inaccurate corners than any other championship side. So an inaccurate corner being a corner taken which the opposition gets their head to first, and so far this season Middlesbrough have taken a total of 151 inaccurate corners, which is the most in the league. For Millwall, this one's a little bit of a double-edged sword really, as they've both lost the most air aerial duels in the championship and also won the most aerial duels in the championship. Being quite a direct side, a lot of long balls Millwall tend to contest with per 90, and as a result of that they win and lose a lot per 90. But across the entire season so far, Millwall are the only championship side who have lost more than 1,000 aerial duels, but on the flip side they've also won a lot. Norwich have been guilty of being a little bit sloppy on the ball at times so far this season. They've had more passes blocked by the opposition than any other side. To be honest, I was scraping the barrel a little bit when trying to come up with the worst statistic for Norwich this season, as generally they've ranked somewhere in the middle for a lot of stats this year. It's been no secret that Preston fans haven't had great entertainment value at Deepdale this season. So far we've scored the fewest amount of home goals in the championship. Just 14 goals we've scored at Deepdale all season. No championship side has scored fewer goals than that, and considering we got, you know, sort of like record numbers in for season ticket sales, it's, you know, typical North End that we go and have a season like this where we barely hit the back of the net at home. QPR really need to brush up on defending set pieces. So far this season they've conceded from 18 different set piece scenarios, which is the most in the championship. Along with that as well, they've also picked up the fewest points of any championship side in the calendar year of 2023, with just 7 points picked up in this calendar year, which really speaks to the worrying levels that they're playing at. I'd be interested to know how many Reading fans have, you know, properly stuck by this side home and away this season, but particularly on the road, because away from home Reading have not got value for money whatsoever this season. They've got the worst away record in the championship. They've only picked up 11 points away from home all season. It really has been that home form, particularly at the start of the season, which has been keeping their head above water this season. But 11 points on the road all season is absolutely dismal stuff. Rotherham United, they need to shoot a little bit more often. So far this season they've taken the fewest amount of shots per game, just 8.9 shots per game they take on average, which is the lowest in the championship. Along with that as well, they've also not been great at passing. They've got the worst pass accuracy in the league at just 65.7%. Do tend to go long quite a bit, which will hinder that pass accuracy, but generally speaking you'd want to bump that up a bit. Sheffield United are yet to score a penalty in the championship this season. They've had 2 attempts so far and they've both been misses. I think one was a goalkeeper save and one was an outright miss. So that's something that the Blades are going to have to fix surely in this second half of this season. And, you know, dare I say, if they do drop down into the playoffs, they've had penalty heartache before in that regard. So we'll definitely need to brush up on their penalty taking skills. Stoke City, they need a bit more sauce in their team. So far this season they've had the fewest amount of dribbles per game, averaging just 5.1 dribbles per game in the championship, which is the lowest number out of all 24 championship clubs. When I look at that team at the moment, it is a little bit sort of rigid really, and there's not that many flair players who will get you up and out of your seat, and maybe looking towards the summer they'll look to add 1 or 2 of those types of players. Sunderland have been plenty of fun to watch this season, especially from open play, but when it comes to scoring from set pieces, this has been a particular weakness in their game this season. From set piece situations, they've only scored 5 goals this season, which is the fewest in the championship. Something that they will need to brush up on probably going into next season, and something they can look into to maybe give them that extra edge next season, because from open play I do think they've been a lot of fun. This one will come as no surprise to absolutely anyone, but Swansea have scored the fewest headed goals in the championship this season. Just 2 of their goals have been headers. We all know the way that Russell Martin likes to play. They keep things on the floor. They don't tend to have that many long balls going forward or anything like that from set piece situations and things. They've never really been all too prolific under Martin, and the stats go ahead and back that up. Swansea, not great aerially. Watford haven't been that clutch this season, particularly when it comes to late goals. They've only scored 1 goal after the 90-minute mark this season, which isn't great when stacked up against some of the other championship clubs who have scored significantly more goals in that time. So scoring after the 90-minute mark, Watford haven't been great at this year. Be interested to know from some Baggies fans, who do you think would be the top offender for this one? But so far this season, West Brom have put in more inaccurate inaccurate crosses than any other championship side in total. 705 inaccurate crosses in the championship this season, which is the most of any championship side. West Brom do like to get things sort of out wide, whipping a cross or a cutback and a cross from a fullback or something like that, but the stats would suggest that they've been a little bit inaccurate in that regard. And then finishing it off with Wigan Athletic, they have scored the fewest amount of goals from open play this season. Just 15 of their goals in total have come from open play, which isn't great and speaks to why they are struggling down at the bottom of the championship right now. On top of that as well, they've also averaged the fewest amount of shots on target per game, with just 2.8 attempts on target per game on average in the championship. Firepower has been a real problem for them of late, and those statistics back up why that's the case. But guys, there we have it. That will wrap it up for today's video. Thank you very much for tuning in. There was one statistic from each championship club and what each championship club has particularly struggled with so far this season. If you did go on to enjoy, do leave a like, and if you'd like to see the flip of this video where we pick out a positive stat for each club, do show your support on today's video. Apart from that though guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all in the next one.